Hello and welcome on in, race fans, to tonight's event under the lights here in Richmond, Virginia for race number 7 on the season here in the All-American Racing League. Tonight it is just myself, Arie, up here in the booth because my usual co-host Tom, well, he's actually on track for tonight's event. He'll be sporting the Buc-ee's machine in the 34 car out on track. I think there might be a little timing and scoring error with that, but I'll keep you updated. I'll keep you posted as we go. Drivers are just wrapping up practice and looking to get set into qualifying. Let's take a look at all of the details for tonight's event. It is, of course, race 7 of our 24 race season. Tonight, 200 laps under the lights here at Richmond. Stage 1 ends at the conclusion of lap 50. Stage 2 at the conclusion of lap 110. Following tonight's event, the next 3 weeks, we've got a bit of a variety. We're going to Rockingham on the 10th of January, followed by Michigan the next week, and Iowa is the third race out from tonight. As practice looks to come to a close, drivers towards the top of the board include the likes of Jamie Walker, Ryan Rose, Cody Gibson, 3 names who have been towards the top for much of the season thus far. We can watch Ryan Rose heading through turns 1 and 2 at the moment in the 78 Camaro. Driver who's winless on the season so far, looking to knock off his first win, not only of the season, but of his career in the All-American Racing League. Looks like he's doing some mock qualifying runs potentially in that machine, currently second on the board. Another driver who's not yet gotten that first win is Jamie Walker, top of the board, driver of the 20 machine. He's been oh so close so many weeks running now, and somehow, some way, they each keep slipping away. And I tell you what, in an alternate timeline, Jamie Walker could be sitting on 3 wins in a row right now with the way that he's been performing. But nonetheless, tonight will be another opportunity for him to potentially get the job done. Still got a couple Christmas paint schemes out there on track by the looks of it. Matt Semple in the 8 car, getting that thing saved. We've got just about a minute and a half left in practice as these drivers continue to circulate around the track. Mark Arthur currently sits P4 on the board. Tom Richter, my usual co-host, he's actually sitting 5th on the board here in practice. Timing and scoring has him in the 28. But out on track, he's effectively in the 34. He doesn't actually drive the 34, it's a whole thing, but that's what his car says. And the actual 34 is not here, so it'll do. It will do. A couple other drivers out here. Matthew Pavlik in the 30, currently sitting 15th on the board. Larry Bell in the 43. It's currently P10 here in practice in that bright purple machine. Can't miss it. Joseph Klein in that all black down number 5. Back out here in Richmond, 16th on the board as we make it 14th on the board. Driver who's run the most laps all throughout practice, it's going to be the 80 machine of Rob Higgs, currently sitting at 102 laps run throughout tonight's practice session, which is only about an hour. We've got Jaden Wicks in the 02, bringing that Camaro out on track tonight here in race number 7. Currently 21st on the board. A lot of these times I would expect to potentially get shaken up here in qualifying. A lot of the times we're set on a brand new fresh track at the start of practice, and then the times kind of fall away as the night goes on, as it goes. And so with that, excited to see how it's all going to shake up, but checkered flag is out for practice, and the session will get ready to switch over right about now into qualifying. Battle for the pole for the 7th time this season, for the 7th time in the All-American Racing League. Who's going to be the first one out on track? I'm keeping my eyes on it, trying to see who we got. We got Matt Semple in the 8 car. Gonna make his way out on track right here. A couple others on track. Cody Gibson, Rob Higgs, Ryan Rose, Logan Spencer, some of the early gang all hitting the track at the moment. Drivers all have 5 minutes to get their laps in, but it's a short track. Should go by relatively quick. We see Matt Semple diving down off of the corner, get as much momentum down the front straightaway as you can. for lap number 1. We'll see how good he gets into turn 1. Gets the car rotated perfectly down onto the white line. Gets real tight out of turn 2, so you got to play with the apex there. Get the car to sit on entry of 3. A little high on the racetrack, but he's going to arc it back down and get a good run down the front straightaway across the line for Matt Semple. We'll go ahead and put the board up there. It's a 22.342. First and only time that we currently see through. Now we're going to get a couple more. Rose, Gibson, Higgs, and others. Matt Semple's got a pretty good time at the moment for the final time through 3 and 4 on this go-around. See if he can improve at all. But the 48 of West jumps up to P3 at the moment. Oh, Semple across the line sideways in the closing moments. We're going to jump over to Caleb West in the 48 as Cody Gibson jumps top of the board, 22.204. Ryan Rose jumps up, 22.166 off of turn 4 for the 48 car. And that is going to be P9 as we jump over to Alex Fuller just finishing his lap. P5 on the board for Fuller. We got Zachary Wake in the 39 across the line with that one, and it is going to be P6. Brian Zimmerman in the 22 to complete his second lap. He's going to jump up to P4. Dakota Moniz, we're catching all these drivers out of turn 4. Dakota Moniz is going to go from P12 up to P7 with that one right there. We've got Joseph Klein just finishing his first lap. It's P14 on the board, and we'll see what he can do on the second lap around in the 5 machine. Current top of the board is Ryan Rose with that 22.166. Cody Gibson, Nolan Mills rounding out the top 3. He's going to get sideways is Joseph Klein off of the corner and drifts it across the line up into P7. So we jump over to Jaden Wicks now in the 0-2 through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And he's going to loop it out of corner exit. That has been something these drivers have been complaining about all night in practice, is just how loose these things are. Matthew Pavlik across the line, that's going to be P12. We're going to jump over to the bright pink Toyota Supra driven by Mark Arthur. We're going to see what he can do on the second lap here. Driver who's gotten a pole position and gotten a win so far this season. Going to get loose, stepping that rear end out, coming to the line right here, gets the power planted and put Mark Arthur P3 on the board with that one. We jump over now to Brad Holmes in the 86 Ford Mustang. He's looking to complete his second lap, currently sitting 19th on the board, but going through 3 and 4 for the final time, taking a bit of an unusual line through the corner. He's going to get right up on exit, drive it all the way in there, and Brad Holmes is going to stay in P20. Got another car on track right now, Joshua O'Brien in the 87. Now looking to start his fast lap right here through turns 1 and 2. No time on the board as of yet. That's a pretty clean looking Chevy Camaro right there, if you ask me. Down into 3 and 4, looking to get that car rotated down onto the line for exit. Great exit, keeps the car straight, cross the line for the 87. You can put him P9 with that performance right there. We jump over to Trevor Harmon, who touches the wall right there. That's going to disallow this lap. And then I think this might actually be the warm-up lap. No, that would have been the first one. So Trevor Harmon 029 is going to have to go another time to get a time on the board. Currently the only driver out on track. He's going to loop it around heading into turn 1. Real easy to do on entry. Couple of drivers notably electing not to take a qualifying effort. Jamie Walker, Tanner Marr, Tom Richter. Just a couple to name who are electing to start where they may towards the back of the field. A lot of these drivers, from talking to them in practice, are feeling really uncertain. They're feeling really unsure as to what to expect tonight. These cars are wicked loose. They are not happy. They fear there might be some incidents to avoid getting caught up in. They don't want to lose control themselves. It's going to be a doozy from what I've gathered, and that makes it all the more fun for you and I up here watching all of the action. So with that, why don't we take a look at our starting lineup officially on pole for tonight's event here in Richmond. It is going to be the 78 car of Ryan Rose, ahead of Cody Gibson, sharing the front row on the outside. In P3, it's Mark Arthur, and in 4th, Nolan Milnes. Rounding out the top 5 for the start of tonight's event, Brian Zimmerman. In 6th, it's Matthew Semple and Alex Fuller alongside, or rather on the next row in 7th, excuse me, Joseph Klein alongside. In 8th, on row 5, we've got Joshua O'Brien and Dakota Moniz to round out the top 10. In 11th, it's Zachary Wake, followed by Gabriel Goli in P12. Rob Higgs in 13th. Matthew Pavlik starts 14th. We've got Jaden Wicks and Caleb West, 15th and 16th. Stoney Benfield is going to start us off in 17th, alongside Ron Hollifield. Get my button right here. We got Larry Bell in 19th. Brian Troy rounding out the top 20. Brad Holmes in 21st. Christopher Puglisi in 22nd. We got Dakota Dennis in 23rd. Jackson West, 24th. William Bruton rounds out the top 25. Just outside, we've got the no-timers. We've got Jamie Walker in 26th. Tanner Marr in 27th. Tom Richter, Trevor Harmon, and Brian Wertman round out the top 30. Shotgun on the field, it's going to be Logan Spencer, Shane Johnson, and Antonio Bannister to round out our field of 33 drivers this evening. It is a packed field. It is a packed crowd, and we are ready for some short track action under the lights. Pace cars getting ready to pull off a pit road, lead our drivers on around, and get this party started. Again, 200 laps tonight at the Richmond Raceway. Stage number 1 ends at the conclusion of lap 50. That'll be the first designated break in the race that these drivers will be looking forward to. But the name of the game right now is just how loose these race cars are, trying to monitor the situation, trying to keep it under control. Going to get an additional lap around here, of course, to make sure that the field can all get caught up and ready. Double file on the racetrack. You see Ryan Rose, our pole sitter tonight, looking for his first win in the All-American Racing League, a driver who should absolutely have a checkered flag to his name, if not more, by the time the season is up. Very competitive thus far in the season. Cody Gibson has won a race up to this point. In the next row, we got Brian Zimmerman, Nolan Milnes. So far here in the All-American Racing League, it's been 6 races, 6 different winners. Looking to make it 7 tonight, unless one of our 6 previous winners can go up there and grab themselves a second. Here we go then. Pace car pulling off onto pit road, field in the hands of the starter. Into the restart zone we go, and we are green. Down into turn 1, Ryan Rose leads the way. Clear by a couple of car lengths off of turn 2. Ryan Rose is going to run away, but the first battle on track, it's for P3. We've got Brian Zimmerman on the inside, Nolan Milnes on the outside. So all these drivers try and figure out where they want to be running. They get it sorted out. The 45 of Alex Fuller is going to stay ahead of the 87 of Joshua O'Brien. And oh, we've got a car getting sideways on corner entry. That's the 5 of Joseph Klein. Oh, Matt Semple, huge contact on corner entry. Multiple drivers involved, unable to get it slowed down and to avoid the incident. Let's rewind it. Let's take a look at the tapes right here. Heading down the front straightaway, Matt Semple just misjudges the braking zone and sends the 5 car up the track. Now, here's what I'm curious in. We've got a number of drivers. The 48 gets tagged. He goes around. We've got a couple drivers up top that don't get the memo that there are cars stopped on the outside right there. The 25, the 89, the 53, even the 10, all come plowing on in there. That was an unbelievable turn of events right there. I would really like to see what this looked like from on board the 53, for example. Let's see if we can't grab the onboard shot. Just kind of found the incident. Just kind of found the wreck. Drove right up in there. And let's get one more replay. This time, I would love to see it from onboard Matt Semple. Yeah, Matt Semple just driving in a little too deep. Not ready for the braking zone right there. Then just gets hammered from behind. Absolutely massive hit for the 8 car. That might be night done with that occurrence right there. Multiple drivers on pit road. First caution comes at the start of lap 2. And with that, we are ready to re-rack, restack. Ryan Rose leads this race. All is as it started for the top 2. Brian Zimmerman's up a couple spots, up into P3. Nolan Milne sits 4th. Alex Fuller rounds out the top 5 at the moment. A couple of our biggest movers of the race so far. My usual co-host, as a matter of fact, Tom Richter, currently up 12 positions from where he started this race, having not taken a qualifying effort. Bringing alongside Trevor Harmon, who's also up 12 positions from where he started. Shane Johnson's up 12 positions from where he started in the 2 car. Those are our biggest movers at the moment. And it does look as though the likes of Tanner Marr and Jamie Walker not currently on track. So those 2 electing not to take a time. And it also looks like they are not joining us out on track. Potentially some issues before the race. And unable to make it to the green flag. With that, lights are out on the pace car. And the field is going to go into the hands of the 78 Camaro on the inside. Ryan Rose looking to capture his first win here in the All-American Racing League. He's going to have control on the restart. We'll see how everyone manages to keep up with him as the pace car pulls off and into the restart zone we go. Ryan Rose is going to hammer the gas pedal. It was a good jump from the 22, but in the second phase, Cody Gibson gets a good gear change. He is going to clear into turn number 1. Ryan Rose is gone. Nolan Milne is looking for an opportunity. He can't get there. He's going to bounce off of the wall as Brian Zimmerman to the inside of Cody Gibson now looks for P2 in the 22. Ryan Rose likes what he's seeing out front. Let these guys all figure it out and battle behind, as it looks like Zimmerman's going to relinquish that second place spot to Cody Gibson. All of our race leaders get it sorted out. That leaves the next battle in the hands of the Scooby-Doo machine. Alex Fuller trying to take the battle to Joshua O'Brien in P5. Number of drivers back here trying to settle in, find the rhythm, find where they can be running. Looks like they're all going to get it sorted out. We've got some stuff going on a little further back in the field. Quite a hornet's nest happening. A lot of positions changing hands. A lot of drivers trying to figure out where they need to be running. Including Mark Arthur, a driver who is down a significant amount from where he started this race. Down 11 positions, looking to make his way back up towards the front half of the field. Picking his way through traffic. Joseph Klein, of course, we know he was involved in that last incident. He's got some damage on that race car that he got fixed. The damage is still there, however, and we've got Jackson West in front of the field in the back, cannot keep that car under control, and the 76 is going to bring out another yellow with that incident right there. Caught a glimpse of it before it happened, and we will take a look at what happened here for the 76 car. We're going to have to go back a little bit further even for Jackson West. Already, I mean, we're going to have to go back even further for Jackson West right here. All right, let's watch. Down the front straightaway with the 76, center your screen, into turn 1, just gets in way too hard, loses the rear end, can't get that car corrected. By the time he does, he's overcorrecting right into traffic, and he's going to collect the 5, the 19, the 2, and the 53, unfortunately. All going to get involved in that mess as a result. Unfortunate for some of those drivers at the back of the field who cannot catch a break so far. All right, back live with the race leaders. Ryan Rose has gone uncontested thus far. Second caution of the night as we work lap 11. Looking at lap 50 for the end of stage number 1. Number of drivers on pit road at the moment, everybody 20th on back. Currently in the pits, everyone in the top 19, not everyone in the top 19, mind you, has made a pit stop. So it looks like the top 13 yet to be on pit road. Number of these drivers getting their damage repaired, being involved in an incident or two up to this point. At this point in the race, the biggest mover is still the 34, still Tom Richter, my usual co-host. Gotta brag when I've got the chance. Up to P11 from where he started, up 16 positions in the Bucky's machine. The Boochies, as he likes to say. First time that paint scheme is seen, the racetrack. See what old Tom can do out here tonight. Was top 5 on the board in practice. And I do believe this time by, it's going to be lights out on the pace car. It is. And everyone's going to line themselves up. Ryan Rose electing to take the inside for the third time. As it has been all night, Cody Gibson rounds out the front row. On row 2, it's Brian Zimmerman and Nolan Milnes. Row 3 is going to consist of Joshua O'Brien and Alex Fuller. Row 4, Zachary Wake, Gabriel Goli. And row 5, Dakota Moniz, Jaden Wicks. Let's take an aerial view. I do love a blimp camera around Richmond. Into the restart zone we go. Ryan Rose ready to hit that loud pedal, and he does. Cody Gibson unable to match that pace as we head down into turn 1. Zimmerman has the door. He does not take it. Cody Gibson drives it in real deep. Nolan Milnes is going to pin it to the side of the 22 and try and get a position. He's going to bounce off of the wall just a little bit. Down into turn 3. The one car tries to keep it pinned on Zimmerman's outside. He's able to, and he is going to fight for this position. Tooth and nail. It looks like the 22 is going to drive it in far enough. Zimmerman holds on to P3 as Milnes looks for another opportunity, but he's got company right behind him. A little further back, Tom Richter still working his way up now around Jaden Wicks in the 0-2. Looking to bring Brad Holmes and Mark Arthur along with him, now up into P10 on track. Let's take a look, why don't we, at the onboard camera from the driver out of Allentown. Down the back straightaway, looking at P9 just ahead. Dakota Moniz potentially trying to square him up for a move here as we've got some battles further up happening. And the 34 continues to run his best effort. A little further up, it's the 53, a lap down car, as a matter of fact, that the leaders are just making their way around. Everyone's kind of single filed out for the most part. You got to go quite a ways back. Mark Arthur getting around Jaden Wicks right now, following Brad Holmes and Tom Richter up through the field. First little bit of position battling happening a little further back. Trevor Harmon in that beautiful 029, making it around Rob Higgs in the 80. Rob Higgs trying to fight it, though, not willing to give up that position easily. But alas, he is going to have to fold on that one. As looks like we've got an issue. Issue on track for the likes. I'm not entirely sure who the issue is for. As a matter of fact, we are going to have to find out. I am not entirely sure, as I have not seen a name. Oh, it might be the 27. There it is. The 27 slides down to the inside, single car spin. Looks like that was probably just enough to bring out the yellows. No other cars involved. In the Exxon Camaro, it's going to keep that thing going. Little damage to the front, probably come down pit road, have it looked at, but No harm too big for driver 27. And we are under caution for the third time as we work lap number 20. If you could believe it, still 30 laps to go here in stage number 1. Ryan Rose, Cody Gibson, Brian Zimmerman, the top 3 as has been the case much of the race thus far. Ryan Rose, again, he's looking for his first career win here in the All-American Racing League, trying to make it 7 for 7 winners this season. Cody Gibson wants to be the first to 2 wins, admin of the race league, of course. Brian Zimmerman, driver in 3rd place, known for his skill on a short track. That 22 car is here to show up and show out just a little bit tonight. I've raced him a good amount myself, and I can attest to it. Nolan Mills in 4th, also looking for his first win here in the All-American Racing League, a driver who's absolutely talented enough to make it happen. Lots of talented names here on Saturday nights. Lots of challenges to be had. All right, lights are out on the pace car, and we're doubled up, ready to get back at it once again. As we like to do, we're going to jump up into the blimp cam as we head towards the restart zone. Field in the hands of the 78 car on the inside yet again. Cody Gibson on the outside going to try and make a better run this time. It's not going to happen. If anything, it might have been a little worse, and Brian Zimmerman is going to have an opportunity down into turn 1, maybe the best opportunity he's had so far, to try and make the pass down the back straightaway and into 3. He's going to have a great run right here. Cody Gibson, a couple of car lengths up the track, makes it work, drives that car in real deep. He's going to make it stick. He's going to hold on, and Nolan Mills is going to fancy another shot around the outside, and Zimmerman's not having any of it. He's going to slide back into P3 as he has been doing up to this point. Alex Fuller has got some company. Zachary Wake in that 39, rocking a brand new paint scheme here this evening. Winner of the season opener in Daytona, out here with some bold, dark colors in that 39. He can't get around the 45. He has a rear view mirror full of the 55 of Gabriel Angoli in that white and highlighter green Ford Mustang. This is currently a battle for P7. Just behind is Tom Richter in the Buc-ee's machine, looking to make his way up slowly but surely. And you can hear just how much off-throttle time there is at a track like Richmond, riding on board here with these drivers. Jump on board with Zachary Wake. Lots of heavy braking at Richmond. Lots of patient rolling the center of the corner. Lots of patience. Off throttle rolling the center of the corner. Not a lot of on throttle time. It's a lot of finesse. A lot of small details to make it work at a track like Richmond. A little bit further back, we've got a battle going on. Jaden Wicks, Dakota Moniz. And further back, it's Trevor Harmon, Brad Holmes. And this kerfuffle of race cars right here, all battling it out for P11 on track. Up towards the front of the field, everyone single-filed themselves out. And we're looking at some of the closest battles that we have going on back here in the proverbial hornet's nest. Brad Holmes in the 86 trying to make something work around the outside. Richmond can be a racetrack in which it's pretty difficult to pass at historically. And then when you add the handling issues into the conversation, it becomes a matter of hoping that you've managed your stuff better than the driver you're trying to pass. And your passing is going to be based not on speed, but on management and having yourself in a more comfortable position. So that's going to be something that these drivers are certainly battling. And despite all of the cautions, we are working lap 32 at the line, having not made a pit stop for tires yet. And there is another yellow out on track. And I am not entirely sure. Here we go. Puglisi in the 53 has got some terminal damage to the front left of that race car. And that might just be where we're looking right here as we grab a replay. That will certainly do it. I'm glad I wasn't behind the wheel of that 53 machine. That was a very hard hit right there. Very reminiscent of what we saw out of Brian Troy. As a matter of fact, almost identical, but the contact was a lot worse. It's so easy to do, and if anything, why don't we take a look a little bit further back? Riding on board with Christopher Puglisi here. And just watch as he makes his way through turns 1 and 2 right here. Just trying to get back onto the throttle and how easy it is to just lose control. I suppose it's the next lap around. But that's all right. You can see a good example of how it works that time by. He's also in a battle. You can see he's got quite some company in his rearview mirror right there. All of our race leaders are staying out in real time, but here we go. It's so easy when you exit the banking right there. There's a small bump onto the back straightaway. And if you're in the high rev range, right when you come down the banking, you can see at the top of your screen, it is so easy to lose control of that race car. And that's why you see so many drivers do it here at Richmond. So many drivers falling victim to that exact incident. Unfortunately, for driver 53, it was a very significant hit to the inside wall, and that is caution number 4 on the evening. With that, drivers are working lap 34 under yellow, racing to lap 50 for the end of stage 1. So far, up to this point tonight, Ryan Rose has been the driver on top, qualified on pole, led every single lap, and has aced restart after restart. Now, the real challenge begins when we start hitting pit road at the end of stage 1 and throwing some more factors into the equation. But so far, that 78 car has looked in control and determined to score his first win here in the All-American Racing League. Outside row 1's Cody Gibson. Row 2, as it has been, Brian Zimmerman, Nolan Milnes. Row 3 on the restart, Joshua O'Brien, Alex Fuller. Pace car is going to pull off, and we are going to jump up to the blimp camera into the restart zone for the 78 car, and it's a great restart for the 78, but this time Cody Gibson tries to keep up. He does pretty decent. Brian Zimmerman likes a more shallow entry into 1, and that's going to allow Gibson to really drive around the outside. Is he going to keep it out of the wall? He does, and he's got Nolan Milnes following deep into turn number 3 right here. Is Milnes going to fancy taking it 3 wide? He peaks for a second. He can't quite get there, and Zimmerman continues to hold it down on the inside. As we enter turn 1, he finally has to give it up. Milnes stuck on the outside. He's going to try and go the long way around. Keeps it out of the wall that time, but he cannot keep up there, and they are single filed out. Meanwhile, a little further back, Tom Richter got his hands full with Jaden Wicks in the 0-2, now looking to move up in the field up to 9th place as he takes that position away from Tom. Maybe not for long. Richter's going to battle back on the outside. Closest side-by-side action on track at the moment. This battle for the top 10. Oh, we've got an issue further back. Big trouble. Dakota Moniz, Trevor Harmon, multiple other drivers in the back getting collected as well. And we are under caution for the 5th time in tonight's event. We are going to need another replay to see if we can't get to the bottom of exactly what happened here. Let's grab the chopper view. You can see the 029 just tap the wall and lose control enough to collect the 05, and from there, when you've got one car spinning out of control, it is hard to avoid for anybody else. Let's take another look right here. We'll take the slowed down version on corner exit. You're looking at the 029, the blue car on the outside on the corner exit. All good, except he has to correct into the wall. That bounces the 29 into the 05, and from there, everybody else is just along for the ride. The 43 of Larry Bell is going to get a piece of that right there, a couple pieces of that. The 80 is trying desperately to find a way out of there, and Rob Higgs does a fantastic job of saving that car after that point, I should say. We've got the 48 back here trying to sneak through as well. We've got the 2 car of Shane Johnson snaking through as well, and that could have been a lot worse than it was, all things considered. But with that, we have our answer for caution number 5. Ryan Rose continues to lead. What else is new? We work lap 41, and the end of stage 1 is approaching quickly. Number of drivers are on pit road yet again. The top 14 have yet to make a pit stop up to this point in the race. Effectively the top 15. Mark Arthur's been on pit road, but it was not for any level of service. Lights are going to go out on the pace car this time by, and it's going to be Ryan Rose, Cody Gibson on the front row, Brian Zimmerman, Nolan Milnes, and Joshua O'Brien, Alex Fuller. Not a lot of position changes happening in the top 6 or so, as they've all managed to sort it out on these restarts. Though not for a lack of trying by any means. I think a lot of these drivers do know, however, that the handling conditions out there are treacherous. And to finish first, you must finish. That means keeping the car in one piece and not getting involved in a big incident, especially early on. Once again, let's take an eye in the sky as we approach the restart zone. Driver 78 in control with help from the 22, who doesn't get a great launch, but the 78 is gone, and Brian Zimmerman does have an opportunity to take the fight to the 7 yet again on the inside. How hard is Zimmerman willing to make this fight? As a couple of drivers get into the wall, Jaden Wicks a little further back. Zimmerman's got the nose on entry. Cody Gibson with pressure from behind, pressure to the side, tries to hold on the outside. Across the line, Zimmerman's got P2, and into turn 1, how hard is Gibson willing to drive it in? Extremely, and on corner exit right here, level with the 22, down into turn 3. How much longer can the 7 fight without killing his tires? Zimmerman's got him on the ropes, and down the front straightaway is the 22 clear. He is not quite clear yet, but he is inching that way as long as he hits his marks. Coming out of turn 2 right here then, Cody Gibson, he's going to swing back, bounces it off the wall ever so slightly. Zimmerman still with the advantage on entry. Nolan Milnes just waiting for the opportunity just behind in that one car. as we've got 4 laps to go in stage number 1. Stage points up for grabs for every single position here. Zimmerman drives it in a little deeper than he has been. And off of the corner right there, Gibson's going to get sideways, gets it corrected, but that allows Zimmerman to get clear. Nolan Milnes fancies a shot now to the inside of the 7 machine. Brian Zimmerman officially clear to take off. As Gibson might fancy a move to the inside, he tucks back in line and lets it go for now. All the while, Ryan Rose cruising out front in the race lead, but these guys are not done going at it yet. Nolan Milnes waiting for an opportunity. Joshua O'Brien waiting for an opportunity a little bit further back as well across the line. It's going to be popsicle sticks in the air for stage number 1. As everyone's kind of single-filed themselves out. Everyone all the way back to P11 and 12. Stoney Benfield on the inside, around Jaden Wicks on the outside. Mark Arthur trying to follow through as well. Down into turns 3 and 4 we go. A little further up, we've got another battle. Zachary Wake under pressure. We've got Alex Fuller in the Scooby-Doo machine on the inside. Zachary Wake real deep on corner entry right there. Gonna arc it all the way down and try and hold on to the track position in the last lap of stage number 1. We'll see if he can do it. But out of turn number 4, Ryan Rose is going to win stage number 1. Alex Fuller got it at the line by the looks of it, and we'll wait for everyone to get slowed up behind the pace car. We'll wait for timing and scoring to confirm. But I can confirm that your stage 1 winner is the same driver who got the pole and led every one of those 50 laps. Ryan Rose in the 78 machine, well on his way to stamping his name into the record books as a winner. Lines up behind the pace car, 10 stage points wealthier. Brian Zimmerman comes home in P2 in stage number 1. Cody Gibson, Nolan Milnes, Joshua O'Brien. That's our top 5 at the end of the first stage. Alex Fuller, Zachary Wake, 6th and 7th. Gabriel Ngoli, a very quiet 8th place in stage 1. Tom Richter is in 9th, and Brad Holmes gets the final point for stage 1 as everyone makes their way down onto the pit lane. Not a single driver stays out on track as these guys are desperately waiting for that new set of Goodyear rubber. They've all had one long run to go at it. Not really a long run, but a long set of laps, 50 in total. Bunch of cautions in between. A lot of heat cycles on these tires. Gotten to battle in traffic. Gotten to see what to expect. I see a little uptick in aggression now that these drivers know what they're working with. Off of pit road, we're going to see exactly how this timing and scoring works out, but Ryan Rose does get out uncontested. Brian Zimmerman is showing 5th place, which would be a huge drop in position having entered in P2. By the looks of it, Nolan Milnes jumps ahead of Cody Gibson, and that will be our new 2nd place runner. Cody Gibson down to 3rd, Joshua O'Brien up to 4th. Himself having a pretty quiet night so far in the 87. Zimmerman down, of course, to 5th. Brad Holmes is going to jump up significantly, having not taken 4 tires. Brad Holmes took 2 tires on that pit stop, interestingly enough. Perhaps fancying saving a set or trying some strategy here, given the lack of green flag action in that first stage. We'll see what it is out of the 86 car, but either way, he's going to jump up into 6th place with that call right there. Lights are on the pace car. And with that, Ryan Rose, for the first time tonight, elects to take the outside line for the restart. It's going to pin Nolan Milnes down on the inside. We've not seen this out of the race leader thus far. Row 2 is going to consist of Cody Gibson and Joshua O'Brien. Row 3, Brian Zimmerman, Brad Holmes. as we get ready to throw the green flag yet again. Stage number 2 ends at the conclusion of lap 110. That is what we'll be looking for here. Restarting coming to lap 55 into the restart zone, and it's a quick launch for the 78 of Ryan Rose. Gets a fantastic jump on the field. Second place might not be much of a battle because Nolan Milnes has it figured out, but it's third on back that we're keeping our eyes on. Joshua O'Brien on the outside, Cody Gibson on the inside, under pressure, losing another spot potentially. Down into turn 3 we go. Zimmerman waiting for an opportunity to make up some lost ground as well. And a little further back, Brad Holmes on 2 tires is in the middle of a hornet's nest as he is dropping like a rock on that ill-handling 86. Those 2 tires are dangerous. Big save just ahead by Zachary Wake. Phenomenal save right there to keep that car straight and avoid an incident. And we've got trouble for Cody Gibson. Out of the top 5 is going to take the access road down the front straightaway, but the caution comes out for driver number 7. And that is a big time incident right there. Let's take a look at what happened. Cody Gibson running in 3rd place at the time of the incident. He's just going to get loose in turn 3. Doesn't look like there's any help right there. We'll try to get another view. He just gets sideways enough for the yellow to be thrown, though it could very well have not been a yellow. Let's see if we can't... get a chopper view right here. And we can see him start to get sideways. The rear end is kicking out right here. We'll see if the 87 helps him around at all, but... no, the 87 doesn't need to. The 7's already sideways. No contact. Great job by Joshua O'Brien in the 87, by the way, to get checked up in time. And Cody Gibson slides just enough, just going slow enough for that yellow to come out. And with that, we are under caution yet again. Number of drivers electing to come down pit road this time. Joseph Klein, Dakota Moniz, Matthew Pavlik. A bunch of drivers who I would expect repairing some more damage on those race cars. Meanwhile, up front, everyone's staying out, holding their track position. Ryan Rose still uncontested for the race lead at any point in tonight's event, though we haven't had a particularly long green flag run to do so. Tell you what, while we're pacing around here yet again, why don't we pull up winner of stage number 1? And we've got the stage 1 winner, the pole sitter, and the driver who has led every lap so far tonight. Ryan, you've had a great start to tonight's event here in Richmond. Nobody's been able to get up there and challenge you, but my question to you is this. If we start getting some long green flag runs, how are you feeling about your long run speed?
I'm feeling pretty good. I tested a little bit, and I've tested a lot this week, and I feel pretty good. But yeah, feeling pretty good. Hopefully I won't end up like Charlotte or Sonoma.
All right, well, I tell you what, you've got a great opportunity tonight to go out there and make it 7 winners in 7 races. Put that 78 in victory lane tonight. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
And with that, we've got driver 78, Ryan Rose. I would have liked to have gotten an interview post-pit stop, but these cautions go by pretty quick, so you got to do it when there's not a pit stop, apparently. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Tell you what, I'm curious to see what we can glean out of the 1 and the 87, both being up in the podium positions at this point in the race for the first time, following that pit sequence. We've seen what happened when Gibson was up here. We've seen what happened when Zimmerman was up here. Be curious to see once we settle in for a run if either Nolan Milnes or Joshua O'Brien can get up there and challenge that 78. I think it's going to take a long run because on these short runs, that 78, as the control car, is able to get a good enough restart to hold these guys off, get himself enough breathing room that he doesn't really have to sweat it. I think it's going to take a green flag run of 20 laps or more before we might see somebody with a chance to go up there and knock him off, as it were. Pace car is going to pull off and into the restart zone yet again. 78 on the inside. The control car going to get a great jump right here. Leaves Nolan Mills on the outside in the dust. And now the 87 of O'Brien to the inside to try and make the pass for P2, but Mills drives it in extremely deep to hold on the outside. He might bring Brian Zimmerman with him to the outside of the 87. These two are going to stay locked together as Mills now looks to set his sights on race leader Ryan Rose. Brad Holmes a couple of cars back, looking to try and get up here as we're 3 wide. Mark Arthur, Stoney Benfield, Gabriel Goli is going to go for a crossover right here. They get it sorted out. No harm, no foul amongst those guys, and back up towards the front. Everyone has sort of settled out here. Zimmerman back up to P3, having made it work around the outside of O'Brien in the 87. Move him up a spot. A little further back in the field. A couple of battles right here. Larry Bell, Joseph Klein going at it. Battle for P13. And further up, Brad Holmes, Jaden Wicks. A couple of drivers having their own little fight right here for P7. Mark Arthur just in the picture. Slowly been clawing his way back up towards the front of the field after qualifying well, but not being up towards the front at the start of the race. He's been slowly chipping away at it, trying to make these passes. He's back up into the top 10 now with that move around Brad Holmes. Sets his sights on Jaden Wicks to pick off yet another. All the while, Ryan Rose, he's got about a second over second place. Nolan Mills, who settled in nicely, but he's got a rear view mirror full of Brian Zimmerman of the 22, trying to get back up into P2, and the caution is out yet again. But who is it for remains the question. I'm jumping around and I'm not seeing who it might be for. Let's see if we can't potentially take a look here around the racetrack with some of the drivers who are a little bit further back. Even a lap down. Here we go. It's the 27 of Brian Troy. This could be another incident off of 2, much like we saw earlier. So easy to spin to the inside wall. Second time for Brian Troy tonight to have that incident. We also saw it, of course, with Puglisi in the 53. Brings out the yellow with that one right there. No significant damage to be of concern. And a couple of drivers actually electing to come down out of the top runners. We've got Jaden Wicks and Brad Holmes making their way down onto pit road for a slightly different strategy. So far, so good for driver 78. We're working lap 69 at the moment, all of which led by Mr. Rose. Nolan Mills runs in P2. Brian Zimmerman's got himself back up to P3. One of the drivers who looks to be one of the larger threats to Mr. Rose out in the lead of this race is Brian Zimmerman in the 22. He hasn't, throughout the course of the night, had the most aggressive restarts by any means, but the speed is certainly there. Came out P5 from P2 on that pit stop that we had, and he's now worked his way back up to P3. These passes are always harder to make the farther up you go, and that 22 looks real racy. See what he can do on the restart now, having an opportunity to restart behind the race leader Ryan Rose and get that jump, assuming, of course, Rose chooses the inside. Biggest mover as it sits, it's the 83 of William Bruton, rocking some new colors out here this week in that 83 machine. Currently up 15 positions as we run. Lights are out on the pace car this time by, and we look to conclude the 8th caution of the evening. Field in the hands of Ryan Rose in the 78, Nolan Milnes in the 1 on the outside. Row 2, it's going to be Brian Zimmerman on the inside and Joshua O'Brien on the outside. Row 3, Zachary Wake and Alex Fuller. Row 4, Mark Arthur, Gabriel Ngoli. And rounding out the top 10, Stoney Benfield, William Bruton. Pace car getting ready to pull off onto pit lane and into the restart zone for yet another time. It's Ryan Rose in control. What kind of a jump is he going to get with this launch right here? It's a pretty good one. He's going to bring Brian Zimmerman right along with him to the inside of Nolan Milnes. How deep do they drive it in? They do quite a bit, and Zimmerman is going to take over P2 just like that. Get the top 3 sorted as Alex Fuller now looks to jump up into the picture in that Scooby-Doo machine, looking to challenge Joshua O'Brien. We're 2 by 2 with these two and Mark Arthur to the inside of Zachary Wake, 1 row behind. Mark Arthur drives in real deep, leaning on the side of the 39 car. Off a corner exit right here. Can Alex Fuller stay in the conversation with the 87? He can. Down into turn 3. Trying to keep it pinned. That 87 is taking some wild lines around here, but he's making the momentum work. He's going to hold on and clear right there down into turn 1. Now the battle is on between the 12 and the 39. This is a battle for P6. As they run, the 12 to the inside, still making his way up through the field, still got more speed to show. Is he going to get it this time? He is ahead of Zachary Wake, just enough to slide on in as Gabriel Ngoli and Stoney Benfield make battle a little further back. These two are battling for P8 out on track. The 55 to the inside. The 75 looks to have a little bit of right rear end damage. Got it caved in just a little bit. I don't imagine it would be too significant for a track like Richmond here. Is Mark Arthur now to the inside of Alex Fuller in the 45. This is now for the top 5 as Mark Arthur moves the 12 car up into the top 5 for effectively the first time tonight. Jaden Wicks back here, one of the drivers who came down and took tires on that restart, single-handedly making pass after pass on the outside lane back up to P11 and looking to use these new tires to his advantage to try and get up and get some track position, get some stage points. That's Cody Gibson in the 7 car, driver who had a single car spin earlier in the race. He was running in the top 3 when it happened, and the 7 car is back up to P9 in terms of drivers that we're looking at moving on up in the field. Mark Arthur is on a mission, got around Alex Fuller, now working over Joshua O'Brien. Mark Arthur does have, actually, I don't think he took tires on lap 58, so, oh, he gets into the 1 of Nolan Milnes. Mark Arthur tags the 1 car, and around they go. Multiple drivers involved as an issue with some of the race leaders, and Nolan Milnes has been so unlucky this season with incidents not of his doing. As we take a look right here, heading down into turn number 3, Mark Arthur sends it from another zip code down into the corner and gets into the 1 car, sends him around, and that is along for the ride right there. Gets a tag from Cody Gibson in the 7. Cody Gibson, another contender with some significant damage. I believe that was... Who was that also? That was William Bruton, who we were talking about a little bit earlier, who got involved as well. Let's take a look, if we can, on board. Mark Arthur. I would love to actually get a little bit further back here. All right. Gets in extremely deep into the rear end of the 1 car. And just like that, he goes around. And the rest is history. The 1 car sits on pit road, looking to get some damage repaired. as the field sorts themselves out, with the exception of Ryan Rose, of course, who has not fallen from the race lead a single time thus far in tonight's event. Brian Zimmerman runs P2. Following that incident, Joshua O'Brien is the driver in P3. Mark Arthur currently in 4th, and Alex Fuller runs in 5th. Lights are out on the pace car, and the race leader is going to elect to take the outside line for the restart, putting Zimmerman on the inside as it stands. Row 2 still getting figured out between the 87 and the 12. That allows everyone to pull on up, and with that, eye in the sky as Ryan Rose on the outside leads us into the restart zone. Looking to get the jump he's gotten all night so far, and he does get it. Zimmerman with an issue to the inside. Zimmerman gets loose. He's going to stack up that inside line, and Mark Arthur in the 12 might have an opportunity to make it around the outside. He won't. Zimmerman clears, and the 87 cannot stay with the 12 car. Down into turn 3, he's going to have an opportunity to send it in from a little further back. He will, and he will pull alongside Mark Arthur, trying to take over P3, take back P3, as we're about halfway through stage 2, and Jaden Wicks, on those newer tires, is working that outside line in the 0-2, bringing Brad Holmes along with him, both drivers who should be the fastest on track right now, using those new tires to their advantage. We're going to ride on board. Never mind, as a caution has come out. A caution yet again. And I am not sure for who it may involve. We'll look around the track. We'll try to see what we can see in regards to who it may have been. Cue up a replay right here and see if we can't... There it is. The 76 is where it starts. Jackson West. Let's take a look. Now that we know who's involved, and zoom it in just a little bit. Heading down into turn 3. Let's slow it down right here. We got the 48, the 43, the 76. Larry Bell to the inside. The 76 trying to come down to fill that gap, but the 43 is there, and up the track go the 3 of them. See if they end up collecting anybody else. Caleb West on the 48. Gonna try to keep it out of the wall. He does. Larry Bell gets unhooked from the 76, and then it's just a couple of love taps from that point as they all get it sorted. But the flagman is trigger happy with those cautions tonight, and that is going to be yellow number 10 on the evening. As we work lap 87, Ryan Rose still in control of the action as it sits. A reminder that stage 2 concludes at the end of lap 110. And following that, we'll be racing to 200 for the conclusion of the race as a whole. Field's doubled up. Pace car getting ready to dive down yet again, and Ryan Rose on the outside as the control car going to pin Brian Zimmerman down on the line yet again. We'll see if Zimmerman can get a better restart this time. We make our way into the restart zone and see what the 78's got. Into the zone we go, and the 78 is the first to launch. The 22 gets a pretty good restart. Can he stay ahead of the 12? Yes, he can. And that sorts out the top 3 as we run, but it's not over yet. Just behind, Jaden Wicks has now entered the picture on those brand new tires. Not so brand new anymore, but on those newer tires than what the rest of the field up here is working with. More specifically, we're talking about 16, 17 lap newer tires than the race leaders. The 02 is going to dive down to the inside and make it look easy on Mark Arthur. Up to P3 goes Jaden Wicks. Brad Holmes is another driver who pit at the same time, also working with fresh Goodyears, looking to make his way up through the field. And Joseph Klein, a driver who was involved in one of the very first incidents of the night on some newer tires, is up into the conversation as well. Mark Arthur gets sideways contact with Brad Holmes. They get it sorted out. Joshua O'Brien looks to capitalize. Excuse me. Swallowed a bug or something. Looks to capitalize around the outside. Joshua O'Brien still fighting Mark Arthur on the inside. Still giving him hell, trying to hold on to that position, and all the while Brad Holmes eyeing this up, fancying a shot. But we might have a battle for the race lead for the very first time tonight, as Brian Zimmerman in the 22 looks to take the fight to Ryan Rose before Jaden Wicks can get there on those new tires. Remember, we have not seen anybody really get up there and press the 78 thus far in the race. We've not really had long enough green flag runs to do so. And now, what will Ryan Rose do facing the pressure as Brad Holmes gets a little sideways further back? And now, Joseph Klein in the 5 might take the opportunity. He's got about the same tires as Brad Holmes. He'll be looking to move forward as well, as they now begin to duke it out, battle for P6 on track as they both slide up right there. Both racing extremely hard, trying to make use of those new tires. And oh, the 5 gets into the 86 big time into turn 3. Huge bump on corner entry, and the 86 not happy with that. Going to return the favor on corner entry and bumps the 5 back up at the racetrack. Meanwhile, they're nearly 3 wide behind. The 86 down towards the inside, has to corral it as they're holding up the entire field with that scrap right there. And now this has developed into an all-out slugfest after the 5 and the 86 trade blows. Short track tempers as the 55 of Goalie is going to capitalize on the situation. Move Goalie up to P6 following the events. Alex Fuller fancying a shot up here as well. We've still got Zachary Wake in the picture. Brad Holmes, the big loser on that one, as Joseph Klein kind of holds steady. And here we go then. Jaden Wicks on those newer tires starting to swing back the other way as Mark Arthur sends it to the inside. A little bit of contact right there as Arthur looks to take back P3. Jaden Wicks down to the inside for the crossover. Inside of turn number 1 goes the 02, and these two are not done fighting quite yet. Off a corner exit and down the back straightaway, the 12's going to have the drive, and the 02 sends it on entry. Nearly contact. There is contact, and they manage to keep it going. The 02 all over the rear bumper of Arthur in the 12 car down into turn 1. Again, another attempt for Jaden Wicks in the 02 to try and take back P3, trying to defend P3 from Arthur, who wants to take it back down into turn 3 we go. This might be it, as Arthur finally makes the move stick and he will stay ahead of Jaden Wicks in the 0-2 car. And with that, most of the field has single filed out following the chaos. But I say that, and then we've got battles further back. Nolan Milnes, who got tagged earlier on by the 12 car, is now back in the hunt. Currently on the lead lap, and currently running in P11 on track, having gotten most, if not all, of the damage repaired on that one machine. Looking to get back up towards the front, looking to secure a good finishing position despite the issues early on. That one car has made it past the worst part of the Hornet's Nest, just a little behind. The 5 car, the 43 car. The 8 of Matt Semple's up here as well. Matt Semple is a number of laps down, however, as we run, being involved on that first incident, but he does have most of the damage repaired at this point for that machine. Further up in the field, though, this battle has not gone away yet. Jaden Wicks hounding the rear bumper of Mark Arthur, who's trying to get up to the 22 of Brian Zimmerman before the end of stage number 2. Ryan Rose has started to drive away from the 22. Race lead no longer under pressure. Race leader's got about 1.2 seconds advantage out front, but these three are about to come together and potentially trade blows here, as there are stage points up for grabs in 6 laps time. 5 at the line. Mark Arthur has caught the 22 of Brian Zimmerman down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. The 12 car looks to put the pressure on. Can Zimmerman hold on to those 9 stage points, or can Mark Arthur get there? And all the while they're battling, can Jaden Wicks make use of the fact that he's got some better tires on that 0-2 machine? Can he get up in there and maybe get a 2-for-1 special off of the corner? They're neck and neck now for P2. Zimmerman to the outside, Arthur to the inside. And that 12 car is going to make it stick. He's going to get the pass done as Zimmerman looks to cross over, but he cannot get there. Sideways off the corner is Arthur. He's going to make P2 stick as Jaden Wicks has nothing from behind, and Zimmerman has to drop that position now. Wicks in the 0-2 will look to gain 1 more position before it's all said and done. 3 laps to go in stage number 2. It'll be 2 at the line, this time by Popsicle 6 in the air for this stage. We'll see if Jaden Wicks can make this pass before it's all said and done. Closest battle on track at the moment is the battle for P3, as Jaden Wicks is there just waiting for the opportunity, just waiting for the slightest slip up, and that might have been it. Brian Zimmerman drifting up the track in the middle of the corner. That might let the 0-2 stick a nose in there. Not quite. Final lap in stage number 2. Lap car on the inside. Can Jaden Wicks make something work of this? Gets a big run down the back straightaway. Is he going to have the opportunity? No, he isn't. And does he make contact? He does not. Now to the inside. Can Jaden Wicks get there at the line? Oh, it's about neck and neck. When does the caution come out? Jaden Wicks is going to be ahead for the caution regardless. And Jaden Wicks is going to hold on to that position. And if timing and scoring gives out the stage points at the time of the yellow, then award that extra point to Jaden Wicks in that battle right there. But up front, it's all the same. Ryan Rose has led every single lap in tonight's event, and that is both stage wins secured, both in the bag, 20 stage points for the 78. Mark Arthur in P2, Jaden Wicks in 3rd, Brian Zimmerman, Joshua O'Brien round out the top 5. Alex Fuller in 6th, Gabriel Ngoli in 7th, Zachary Wake in 8th, and rounding out the top 10 in stage 2, Nolan Milnes comes back for 2 stage points, and Brad Holmes scores the final point. We're going to step away as these drivers make their pit stops and round out this yellow, and we will return in time for the beginning of stage number 3. Lights are out on the pace car, and these drivers are getting ready to start stage number 3 here in tonight's event. We are racing all the way to the finish. We don't get any more incidents. It's going to be just shy of 90 laps to the finish of tonight's event, lap 200. Here we go then. Ryan Rose, the control car. He's going to get a great restart and bring Brian Zimmerman along with him. That 22 car looking to take back over second place on the track. He's going to get there ahead of Mark Arthur in the 12. And now the 87 fancies a shot to the inside. He's going to get sent down towards the inside. We're 3 wide into turn number 3 as the caution comes out just as Mark Arthur is shuffled out of line. And we have issues for Brian Troy in the 27 yet again. Let's take a look. Multiple issues, but the big one is Brian Troy getting loose off of turn 2. This, I think, is the 3rd time we've seen the 27 have this issue off of turn 2 tonight. And this time he had help. We'll get another look at it right here. Zachary Wake just behind, and the 39 doesn't get checked up in time. That was a good save ahead by William Bruton, who had the same issue but kept it straight. 27 gets help and goes around that time. That turn 2 rear end step out has been a big deal, catching a lot of these drivers off guard. None more so than the 27. Trevor Harmon gets one of his laps back. Matter of fact, that should put Trevor Harmon back on the lead lap with that lucky dog right there. I tell you what, a driver who has had a very interesting go of it, very interesting race up to this point tonight has been the one of Nolan Milnes. Let's take a look at the restart. From on board, Nolan Milnes, who found his way all the way in P3 by the time the caution came out. Restarting in P7 for this restart, and we're going to ride around as the one car is going to pick up position after position, taking advantage of some miscues from some other drivers, splits it 3 wide, heads down into turn 3, and the caution lights come out right here. And just like that, that is 4 positions in not even a lap's time for the one car to move Nolan back up into the conversation, having been spun out from 3rd place earlier on. Now returns as the field gets doubled up once again. It's Ryan Rose to the inside, Brian Zimmerman to the outside. Control car remains the 78 as we wrap the 12th caution of tonight's event. The restart's going to happen on lap 120 out of 200. And we will take our eye in the sky approach for the restart as the pace car pulls off onto pit lane, and the 78 looks to hammer down in the restart zone, and he does so. The 22 gets a good launch, but gets a wiggle. I think it'll be enough to hold off the one of Nolan Milnes, who has a line to the inside. He can't quite get there. He's got to contend with the 87, as the 22 might have a shot here. He does not down into turn 3, as Ryan Rose is still well under control. Nolan Milnes in 3rd place, looks to clear ahead of O'Brien in the 87. Can he do it? He can now that the 87 touches the wall. Mark Arthur, Jaden Wicks side by side, just a little further back. That is now going to be the closest battle on track as Milnes settles into 3rd, O'Brien in 4th, and this is the battle for P5. Mark Arthur is going to take it on corner entry, and Jaden Wicks is going to have to slot right back on in to P6, maybe look to the inside, look like a bit of a crossover. These two cannot get away from each other. The 02 and the 12, they have been battling time and time again. Maybe some contact right there down the back straightaway. It's Jaden Wicks getting the opportunity, and now Alex Fuller And the Scooby-Doo machine's going to send it to the inside of Mark Arthur, who seems to be struggling at this point in the run. He's going to drop that position as well, move Alex Fuller up to P6 on the run. A little further back, Larry Bell to the outside. That's Dakota Moniz in the 0-5, making his way into the picture for the first time tonight. Caleb West in the 48, trying to make up some positions as well. Up 5 from where he started. Larry Bell's going to slide up the track just a little bit, but hold on to that position. One of the closest battles on track as it runs. Most of the field is single filed at this point. Now just waiting for the opportunities to pass or waiting for the opportunities in which they have to defend, and this will be one of them for Nolan Milnes, because that 87 of Joshua O'Brien is hungry, and that car has been quick all evening. Joshua O'Brien has not gotten up to challenge for the race lead yet, but he has been consistently a top 5 race car up to this point in tonight's event. Looking to see if he can do any more with a longer run. Alex Fuller is going to send it to the inside of Jaden Wicks now into turn 3. Wicks is going to have to check a big time up the track, and he gets into the side of the 45 on exit. That's going to lose him 2 positions, potentially, as Mark Arthur looks to capitalize and follow the 45 through as well. Gabriel Ngoli might be fancying a shot on the 0-2 down into turn number 3. And the 55 is looking for the opportunity. He is going to get there neck and neck with Jaden Wicks in the 0-2. All is right as the drivers get single filed out once again. Move Gabriel Ngoli up to P7 on the board as Caleb West and Zachary Wake have themselves a little bit of a battle right here. They're all going to get it sorted out. Up front, let's check in with our race leader, Ryan Rose in the 78 car. He's got himself quite a gap over Zimmerman and the rest of the field. We can sit on these static cameras and get a good shot right here of all of our drivers throughout the field. Closest battle on track, P9. Dakota Moniz looking to work over Jaden Wicks for P8 as Wicks continues to fall back following the restart right there, loose off exit, and that seems to be the case for the 0-2, a recurring issue for Jaden Wicks on the shorter run right here. He was able to work his way all the way through the field on those newer tires halfway through stage 2, or in the back half of stage 2, mind you. And now with the even tire set, he is battling a very loose on-exit condition. Is that 0-2? He's going to get passed up by Larry Bell now for P9. And you can move Larry Bell up into the top 10 solidly. He's up 10 positions from where he started. He's one of the biggest movers on track as we run. Zachary Wake now to the inside of Jaden Wicks as the bleeding won't stop for driver 0-2. Further up in the field, we've got a battle for P4. Joshua O'Brien under pressure from Alex Fuller in that Scooby-Doo machine, who's looking to make his way into the top 3 for the very first time this evening. I do believe that 45 car is looking quite racy and wants to carry forward some of the momentum that he's had in recent weeks, trying to find the opportunity to make a pass on the 87. But what you've got to understand about Richmond is that this is a very difficult track to try and make a pass on. You can stick a nose to the inside, you can stick a nose to the outside, but it doesn't guarantee you an opportunity to pass. And if you're riding single file like this, most of the time you're only going to get a nose in there if the driver in front of you makes a mistake. Otherwise, you got to hope you've got enough of a speed advantage. And when you're driving as close, when you're driving on a level as close to everyone around you. It gets extremely hard to make these work. Alex Fuller is going to get an opportunity to the inside now. And he's going to dive it down into turn number 1 right here. Can he clear in time? He can. The 87 does not fight that one as he looks to slot back in right there and hold on to that position. Doesn't want to open the door for Mark Arthur. Mark Arthur's going to take the door, though. He's going to slam it on in there to the inside of the 87. Without giving him much of a choice, Arthur's going to get loose on corner exit, though, and it's not going to stick. But the 87's going to think twice now about leaving that door open for Arthur in the 12. Move Alex Fuller up to P4. I think I said that was 3rd earlier. My mistake. That's going to be P4 on the run, but Alex Fuller solidly in the top 5 running order as we are now working one of the longest green flag runs of the evening, if not the longest green flag run of the evening. We're currently watching the closest battle on track, and it's the battle for 4th position. Ryan Rose in the race lead. He's got 1.6 seconds of breathing room ahead of Brian Zimmerman, who himself has nearly a second over 3rd place Nolan Milnes, who himself has nearly a second over the 45 right here. That is how the running order sits. Most of the field single filed out at this point. All of the field single filed out at this point as we just continue to watch these guys battle for the back end of the top 5. Mark Arthur to the inside of Joshua O'Brien now, looking to take over the 5th place position. Can O'Brien hold on, or is this going to make 2 position losses in the last 5 laps? It will, as the 87 looks to slide back to the inside. Bit of a crossover. He can't make it stick, however. And Mark Arthur is going to take that spot up into P5 now. Looks to follow Alex Fuller towards the front as these guys look to chase down Nolan Milnes, the driver currently holding on to P3 on track. Got a battle on track right now between Larry Bell and Zachary Wake. The 39 car trying to work over the 43 for P9 on the run. Down into turn 1 we roll, and the 39 is going to make it stick. He's going to get there. Larry Bell slots right back on into line, and that is another position traded a little further back. Joseph Klein going to get by Jaden Wicks, who's actually pulling down onto pit road under green flag conditions right here. Could be one of the first green flag pit stops of the evening here on lap 145 with about 56 laps to go, and that is enough to make it on fuel. We are within the fuel window, so Jaden Wicks fancying a new set of tires before anyone else, and we'll see when the others elect to bring themselves down. One thing we do know is that these drivers cannot make it to the end of the race without at least one pit stop in stage 3. Got a couple of battles further back in the pack. P16 on track right now. Brian Wertman in the 35 and William Bruton on the outside in that can't miss 83 machine. These two are going toe-to-toe, trying to figure it out amongst themselves in a bit of a hornet's nest right here. Matthew Pavlik in the 30 is for position. That is 15th on the run as Wertman to the inside looks to take over this spot as well. And the battles aren't over yet because Rob Higgs in the 80 wants a piece of the action. You see Cody Gibson just further back. Cody Gibson's currently 1 lap down of the race leader, having been involved in a couple of incidents thus far. We could see Ryan Rose, the race leader, trying to work over the lapped vehicle of Jackson West in the 76. Currently with a near 2-second advantage over second place Brian Zimmerman, heading now down into turn number 1. Nolan Milnes is a lot closer to Zimmerman than Zimmerman is to Rose. Alex Fuller is still here. Mark Arthur is still here. Joshua O'Brien starting to fall off of the top 5 just a little bit. Gabriel Goli currently runs in P7. Dakota Moniz, Zachary Wake, and Larry Bell round out the top 10. In 11th, as we run, it's Joseph Klein ahead of Caleb West in the 48. P13 is Trevor Harmon in the 029. Stoney Benfield having a quiet night, currently running in P14. And we were just watching Brian Wertman for a little bit right there. He's found himself up into P15 ahead of Matthew Pavlik. Rob Higgs in the 80 car would be next for position. William Bruton. Shane Johnson in the 2 car. Got to go all the way back around the track. Cody Gibson in the 7. Jaden Wicks in the 02 on some fresh tires, having made his pit stop. And then we've got a bunch of cars, a number of laps down. Matt Semple, Jackson West, Ron Hollifield still circulating the track. Multiple laps down is Joshua O'Brien is going to be the next one of the race leaders to pull it down on pit road out of 6th place. This might start to make some of the race leaders think about coming down pit road if they don't fancy trying to make that pass up. And we will keep our eyes on some of the closest battles on track, namely 3rd, 4th, and 5th place, all running in a pretty close line at the moment. "48 laps to go in tonight's event. Still expecting everybody in the field stands, 2 drivers to make their final pit stop to get to the end of the race. Just a matter of who comes in and when they do. I would imagine we're about to see a big influx of drivers in a lap or two, splitting stage 3 right here on laps. And I like them to come down then. We could also see a number of drivers stay out for as long as they can get away with and hope for a yellow in doing so. Couple of different strategy options certainly on the table as Alex Fuller continues to try and chase down the 1 car of Nolan Milnes, driver out of Des Moines, currently running in P4, up 3 positions from where he started this race. He's got P2 right in front of him. That blue rear bumper of Brian Zimmerman at the 22, not all that far away. That Scooby-Doo machine's going to do everything he can to try and close this gap and make the pass. He's got good drive off. Getting into entry a little bit higher up, get that clean air on the nose, arc it down on exit. A competitive line for Alex Fuller, who might just have something for the 1 car. But of course, we do have pit stops looming. Joseph Klein in the 5 car has pulled it down for his pit stop this last time by. The only driver to do so. Got another one on the pit entry, Shane Johnson, lap down driver in the 2 car. As we continue to watch this battle right here for P3, and nearly a battle for P2, as it looks like these guys are reeling in the 22 of Brian Zimmerman, lap by lap, drawing him ever closer, as the 1 car of Nolan Milnes is going to be the first to bite. Nolan Milnes within the race lead pack does bring it down. Zachary Wake in the 39 is also going to bring it down on a pit road. Caleb West in the 48 is going to bring it down on pit road. And we'll see what the rest elect to do. Ryan Rose is going to stay out. Brian Zimmerman stays out. Alex Fuller, Mark Arthur stay out. Gabriel Goli is going to stay out. The first one to bite this time by Dakota Moniz in the 05 is going to bring it on down. And we will continue to monitor with our race leader, Ryan Rose, in the 78, driver who has led every single lap in tonight's event. Might not fancy coming down halfway through a run and letting some others lead some laps. Gabriel Goli is going to bring it down this time. Nearly Richter's himself into the barrels, and the caution is out. Yellow flag on the speedway. And issues for one of our drivers somewhere on the racetrack. I am not entirely sure. In the middle of the pit stop sequence, I don't know if it was the 2 car. It was the 2 car of Shane Johnson. Right around out of turn 2, gets stuck to the inside wall right there, just kind of lost control, got loose. And that changes not everything, but a lot of things, as Nolan Milnes, Jaden Wicks, Gabriel Ngoli, Joshua O'Brien all caught a lap down. Dakota Moniz, Zachary Wake, Joseph Klein, Caleb West all caught off of the lead lap with that yellow. And it is going to benefit all of the drivers who had yet to come down for their final pit stop. Larry Bell up to P5, Brian Wertman up to P6. On pit entry right here. This is going to be a significant shakeup in the field and certainly hinder a couple of drivers who were in a great position to be contenders, as all of the drivers who had already made their pit stop, they're going to have to take the wave around, and they are not going to get a fresh set of tires this time by. Anyone who had already come down going to be kicking themselves that the caution came out, as it did not fly their way. Looks like Brian Wertman had been out an additional time, but does finally bring it on down. And with that, Ryan Rose does not miss out on leading that lap. As far as I am aware, the 78 has still led every single lap this evening. A very difficult task to achieve, especially on an oval. Drivers are doubled up yet again as we conclude the 13 caution of the evening. Drivers can all make it to the end of the race now, as we've got less than 40 laps to the finish. On the inside, it's Ryan Rose in the 78. Bringing along with him on the inside, the 45 of Alex Fuller, trying to make a move for P2 now on Brian Zimmerman. Can that 45 get there? Zimmerman gets loose. He gets loose and he gets into the wall. The rear end steps out for Brian Zimmerman. Big issues on corner entry, trying to drive it in just a little too deep to hold on to position. And those tires were a little too cold for it, as he's going to fall back now. Alex Fuller holds on to P2, but Mark Arthur is smelling blood in the water. Mark Arthur wants that spot, wants a shot to go challenge for the race lead. He's going to have to wait a little longer, as we got battles all throughout the field. Stoney Benfield battling Trevor Harmon now for P5 on the board. Larry Bell is in P4 as it runs and running away, trying to keep up with those race leaders. Could be a very good night for the 43 of Larry Bell. Stoney Benfield is going to get sideways on corner exit, as so many before have. In the 78's going to bring out the caution. No replay necessary, as we saw the whole thing happen right there. I tell you what, though, we will get a replay. We'll watch from on board the 75 of Stoney Benfield as we get another turn 2 spin. And sometimes that's just how it swings. Time and time again, we've seen it tonight. Let this be a lesson to all you drivers out there. Don't take turn 2 at Richmond lightly. It will bite you. Ryan Rose, what else can I say? Continues to lead this race. And given the fact that he was able to pit under yellow, Ryan Rose has an opportunity to walk away from tonight's event having led every single lap. It would be the first time in all American Racing League history, in its short history thus far, that a driver manages to lead every single lap. And for it to happen at an oval is awfully impressive. We'll keep tabs on that. Alex Fuller currently in second, Mark Arthur in third. Larry Bell in P4, currently 15 positions up from where he started, not to be overshadowed by Trevor Harmon in that 029 in P5. Trevor Harmon has moved up 23 positions from the start of this race. Currently running in P5. Brian Wertman in P7 in that 35 machine. He's moved up 22 positions from where he started this race. A couple of big movers, drivers who have survived. This has very much been a race of attrition for second place on back. If your name is not Ryan Rose, you have been through the gulag. You have experienced everything you can experience on a racetrack. And I think if you're Ryan Rose, you probably haven't broke a sweat once. Up there in control and making it look easy. This time by at the line, it's going to be lap 171 out of 200. To the conclusion of this race as we look to wrap caution 14. The lights are out on the pace car. And Ryan Rose, our race leader, is going to elect to take the inside line. That's going to give the jump to Mark Arthur in the 12, who I would imagine is going to be quite aggressive on this restart, try and clear P2. Currently held by Alex Fuller. We'll see what the Scooby-Doo machine can do on the restart right here. We got Larry Bell completing row 2. Row 3, Trevor Harmon, Brian Zimmerman. Remember, the 22 had those issues on corner entry, got up into the wall on that last restart. Take our eye in the sky as the pace car gets ready to pull on down off the racing surface. And the field is in the hands of the 78 of Ryan Rose. The 45 is going to roll up to him, and that's going to allow the 45 to get a good launch. They touch the 45 and the 12. They do get it sorted, and down into turn 1 we roll. Ryan Rose uncontested, but can Alex Fuller make the most of this and keep Mark Arthur at bay? Down into turn 3 we go. Mark Arthur keeping it planted there. He's going to drive it in extremely far on corner entry. He is going to make it stick. He cannot clear. Gets oh so loose on corner exit. The 45 is going to pin it to the right side of that Toyota Supra. And on corner exit this time, can Fuller keep it there? Can Arthur clear? No, they're still neck and neck down into turn 3. That's going to be for position right there as Fuller looks to cross over, but Arthur defends. Fuller back to the outside as Arthur gets loose, and Alex Fuller not quite ready to give it up yet. He does on corner entry, however, as we look to make our way back down the back straightaway. Fuller back in line now in P3 is further back. Larry Bell, hands full with Brian Zimmerman, who's going to get by. Nolan Mills back up into the conversation yet again. A driver looking to recover from just an absolute roller coaster of a night. Nolan Mills is one of those drivers who came down under green and got caught a lap down, had to take the wave around. He finally finds himself back up towards the front, but he's at a tire disadvantage as up front, Alex Fuller gets his elbows out and pushes Mark Arthur out of the way for P2. Caught it out of my periphery. Now Nolan Mills is back into the conversation. Still at a tire disadvantage, but that one car is quick, and he is looking to take back the positions he once lost. Put Nolan Mills back up into the top 4 as Alex Fuller holds on. And we've got issues for Matt Semple and Jaden Wicks, and they are going to bring out the 15th caution of the evening. More issues for Matt Semple, as it looks like it started with Jaden Wicks, as a matter of fact. And oh, William Bruton's going to get a nasty piece of that right there as well. Let's go back a little bit of time here with Jaden Wicks, and we are going to watch from maybe this view right here from the chopper cam as we make our way through turns 1 and 2. And off of exit, Jaden Wicks just gets so tight. He bounces off of the wall into his own teammate in Matt Semple. And then William Bruton just catches a big piece of that right there. Unfortunate stuff. Now, we do have some developments. Much of our race leaders are going to stay out. However, Alex Fuller, Nolan Milnes, Joshua O'Brien, Joseph Klein, Dakota Modi, Zachary Wade, Gabriel Goldie, William Bruton, all down on pit road. A couple of our top 5 runners, Alex Fuller, Nolan Milnes, they are going to put themselves on brand new Goodyears to the end of the race. They are going to have a big tire advantage, but they are going to restart 11th and 12th, make it 10th and 11th as Brian Wortman comes down on pit road this time by and gives up another position. Ryan Rose, Mark Arthur, Brian Zimmerman, Trevor Harmon, Larry Bell, Matthew Pavlik, Cody Gibson, Stoney Benfield, Rob Higgs, the top 9 drivers who are all out on older tires. Alex Fuller in P10, Nolan Milne, Zachary Wake, Joseph Klein, Dakota Moniz, Caleb West, Joshua Bryan, all on 4 fresh Goodyears, ready to make a run towards the end of this race. We work lap 179 as we sit out of 200. We're going to restart this race with more or less 20 laps to go. 20 laps for those fresh tires to make their way through. A handful of cars on older tires make their way through the traffic, get up here, and potentially give themselves a chance at the race win. And I do believe Mark Arthur shutting off the race car in P2, potential fuel issues for the 12 car. Jumping on board with a couple of others here. Not hearing it from anybody else. As the lights are out on the pace car, we double it up, and this time Ryan Rose elects the inside line, the race leader, and has been the race leader for the entire night. Leads 9 drivers on older tires. You got to go back to the outside of row 10, the Scooby-Doo machine. First one on new tires. Into the restart zone we go. And Ryan Rose gets the jump. The outside gets an accordion effect. And with that, everyone keeps it going. They keep it chill. Down into turn number 1, Brian Zimmerman's going to take over P2 from Mark Arthur and fancy himself another go at Ryan Rose. Down the back straightaway we go. Issues for Trevor Harmon, who's in the wall just a little bit. Matthew Pavlik's going to get into the rear end, and the 30 and the 5 get together. The 80 is involved as well, and caution is out as Joseph Klein gets the worst of it. And we look to queue up a replay as to what happened here. The 30 is going to get into the 029 and get those guys all sorts of out of whack. I need to rewind this another time because it looks... Okay, so the 30 gets into the 029. The 5 car on the inside ends up with the worst piece of this. And it looks like the 5 is kind of having an incident of his own. He loses the rear end on the bottom line, and he slides up into the 30, who's already sliding. The 45 is on brand new tires. Alex Fuller is just going to skirt by this one, as does Zachary Wake. Dakota Moniz not so fortunate. He's going to get a big hit right there as the 5 car goes back around, and that is the extent of the vehicles involved. And with that one, we are under caution for the 16th time this evening. The order has shuffled up just a little bit. Ryan Rose now leads Brian Zimmerman ahead of Mark Arthur, Larry Bell, Cody Gibson, the top 5. Cody Gibson has had quite the comeback in tonight's event, involved in 2 incidents. He was a lap or 2 down at one point, and he now finds himself with a repaired race car back in 5th place, looking to recover what was initially looking to be a podium result had everything gone to plan. Not too bad. The first car on brand new tires currently sits in P7, and that driver is Nolan Milnes in the 1 car. Alex Fuller just behind, also on brand new tires in the Scooby-Doo machine. But the way that restart played out was real good for Mr. Milnes, who looks to make his way ahead of 6 more drivers and become the 7th different winner this season. If he can get there in time, if the tires are enough. He's going to have to get a little lucky. He can't spend too much time racing these guys. He's not going to have many laps to do it. And getting around the race leader is going to be a challenge no matter which way you spin it. This time by, the lights are going to cut out on the iRacing.com pace car. And the 78 of Ryan Rose once again elects to take the inside line for the restart. Brian Zimmerman with a damaged race car on the outside. Still damaged from his contact with the outside wall. He is not fancying getting it repaired. He wants that track position. He's going to keep it out there. And you know what? Fair enough. That 22 has still been quick. Mark Arthur, Larry Bell, they're going to share row number 2 ahead of Trevor Harmon, Nolan Milnes in row 3. And now, Cody Gibson, Trevor Harmon in row 3. Got to go back to row 4 to get Nolan Milnes, Alex Fuller. First ones on new tires. Into the restart zone we go. And Ryan Rose is going to hit that loud pedal. He's going to bring Mark Arthur with him. Perfect timing for the 12 car. And down into turn 1 we go. Mark Arthur is going to have a great opportunity to make it happen. We're going to stay in the blimp shot because Nolan Milnes is now past Larry Bell as the 22 gets into the wall. Cody Gibson to the inside as Nolan Milnes on those new tires is now in P5, looking to make it even more. Nearly 3 wide ahead of him. Here comes Milnes in the 1 as we work 13 laps to go. Ryan Rose is gone in first place. Mark Arthur looking to take over second, looking to clear. He's going to do it, but the caution is out yet again. And it's issues further back in the pack for potentially Shane Johnson and maybe some others. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can't see what happened here. If it was the 2 or not. Oh, it started further out. The 2 was just slow after the fact. All right, we got to jump with the 48. We got to jump around with the 48 here. Let's take a look. Corner entry right here. Caleb West in the 48. Brian Wortman in the 35. Dakota Moniz in the 05. All seems good and well on entry. Oh, it actually starts with Stoney Benfield, who got sideways. He's going to take out the 80 of Rob Higgs, and the 48 just gets sideways trying to avoid the incident. Matt Semple has had the worst night of his life, getting involved in even more incidents right here. Let's see if we can't watch this one more time, and let's watch the 75 of Stoney Benfield. Just completely loses the rear end on corner entry. Gets away with it, but a couple other drivers certainly did not come out looking very well. And that marks our 17th caution of the evening. Ryan Rose continues to lead, continues to try and accomplish a feat that has not been done yet in the All-American Racing League, and that is lead every single lap. As it currently sits, Ryan Rose, Mark Arthur, Brian Zimmerman, Cody Gibson, Nolan Milnes. That is our top 5. Nolan Milnes, the first driver on fresh tires, has a great opportunity ahead of him. He's going to restart in 5th position on the inside line, which could prove to be the best spot he could start in. 3rd place usually gets a good launch. If he can as well from 5th, he might be able to clear 1, maybe even 2 cars through turns 1 and 2. He'll need to if he wants a shot at Ryan Rose up front. He has the tire advantage to do it. He just might not have enough time. At the line this time, it's going to be lap 191 out of 200. The tire advantage sits at this. It is currently 16 lap difference between Nolan Milnes' tires and race leader Ryan Rose. 16 laps is the difference, and that is significant. Nolan Milnes' tires aren't the newest on track, or the newest relatively speaking, but compared to some of the other drivers ahead of him, he should be quite fast. We're going to keep our eyes on that black and orange one car. We're going to keep our eyes on the battles going everywhere as the field doubles up once again. Ryan Rose in the race lead elects to take the inside line. That gives a good advantage to the 22 and the 1 as we take a look from above, our eye in the sky, watching the action as Ryan Rose in the race lead brings us into the restart zone one more time. Onto the loud pedal we go. Average restart for the 1 car further back, but Ryan Rose gets a great launch. Down into turn 1 we go. Brian Zimmerman tries to take the fight to the 12 car. Can he get there? He can, but I don't know if he can make it stick. Nolan Mills now draws level with Cody Gibson in the 7. Down into turn number 3. The 22 gets into the 12, and they move up the track. The 22 gets hit by the 1. The 7 slides around, and Cody Gibson into the wall is going to get the worst of that deal as the caution flies for the 18th time in tonight's event. And we are going to take a look. It starts with the 22 and the 12. The 22 gets into the 12, and they get sideways, and they check up big time. The 1, without enough time to react, gets into the 22. He's going to send Zimmerman up and out of control. Zimmerman just doesn't even touch the 7, but iRacing registers it as a touch. And around goes Gibson. Larry Bell, who is having a great night, going to get some contact right there up on the outside wall. And Cody Gibson, who just cannot get away from the trouble, finds himself yet again in harm's way. At the conclusion of that incident, Ryan Rose leads, Mark Arthur in second place, and Nolan Mills in the 1 car is now up to P3. Alex Fuller has brand new tires as well. He is in P4. Same tire strategy as Nolan Mills. These two are now brought into the conversation. Larry Bell, with a slight bit of damage from that incident, finds himself in P5. Zachary Wake in P6. Zachary Wake also on those newer tires. Now the convergence is happening. Now it is a real threat. If you are Ryan Rose in the race lead, you have got to be considering taking the outside line on this restart to hinder Nolan Mills in any way you can. This is not going to be a green-white checkered, but it will be close. We should restart coming to lap 197 out of 200. That is not a lot of time, but with that tire difference, it might just be enough as long as there's no more yellows. It's going to be a great opportunity, and it might be the only opportunity that Nolan Mills is going to get the rest of the way, because you certainly don't want to restart from second place. As the lights go out on the pace car, Ryan Rose stays on the inside. Is he going to take the outside? No, he's not. Ryan Rose stays on the inside, and that's going to put Mark Arthur on the outside, but more importantly, that is going to put Nolan Mills on those fresh tires right in his tire tracks, ready to get a good restart on that inside line. Row 2 is completed by Alex Fuller, who, oh, by the way, also has newer tires. Row 1, 16 lap older. Row 2, 16 lap newer. Up into the sky we go for the restart zone, coming to the end of the race. One final shootout, and on the loud pedal we go. It's a good restart for the inside line, and Nolan Mills draws even with Mark Arthur down into turn number 1. He is there. Can he clear? He can. Alex Fuller trying to come with, but Nolan Mills is the driver with the opportunity as Mark Arthur gets into the wall, causes a huge wreck, an absolutely massive pile up into turn 3. Unbelievable calamity here in Richmond. I don't even know what camera to use, and we need to take another look at this one. There are issues going on further back already. Let's take a look. Out of turn number 2, Watching the bright pink 12 car of Mark Arthur, who's going to get loose and into the wall. And when the 12 does that, he's going to bounce down and clip the 45 of Fuller, an innocent bystander, having a great night. The 22 of Zimmerman having a great night. He's going to get hit as well. He's going to bring the 43 and the 39 along. The 39 kind of squeezes through in his own way. The 029 is there. The 87, the 55, nowhere to go. The 48 has nowhere to go in this pile up. The 80 car has nowhere to go, and they're wrecking behind. The 7 cars involved. So many drivers caught up in the mayhem, and what was absolutely a bad time for 90% of the drivers out on track. Let's see if we can get another shot right here, and we'll watch it from on board the 80 car, who was behind for most of it. That is the definition of a parking lot on the racetrack. One of the biggest wrecks I have ever seen here at Richmond Raceway. And as it falls, we are looking at a green-white checkered finish. NASCAR overtime for these drivers. Ryan Rose with 16-lap older tires in the race lead. He has led every single lap. Nolan Milnes to the outside has 16-lap newer tires. Zachary Wake in P3 on the inside has 16-lap newer tires. Gabriel Ngoli on the outside of row 2 has 16-lap newer tires. Ryan Rose is the only driver left on those old tires out front. A driver on an island, and a driver looking for his first career win. A driver looking to become the first to lead every lap. Up into the sky we go. It looks sure to be a first-time winner, no matter which way it shakes. And here we go into the restart zone. The pace car is off, and Ryan Rose on the 78 has control. Nolan Milnes rolls up to the side of him. The 1 car gets a good restart. It's a great restart for the 1 car as we nearly get 3 wide further back, but we're not. And Nolan Milnes around the outside and now arcing down the back straightaway with 2 laps to go. Has to go now. The new tires are going to work. You just have to believe in it through 3 and 4. Ryan Rose is going to take the white flag, and one more time around into turn number 1. The 78 drives it in deep. The 1 cannot get there. He's going to hook that yellow line. He's going to keep it pinned down the back straightaway. Does he give him the bumper into turn number 3? He drives it in deep, but he washes up, and Ryan Rose is going to lead every single lap in Richmond and walk away a winner in the All-American Racing League. Driver 78 makes it 7 winners in 7 races to begin the season here in the All-American Racing League. Nolan Milnes with a great effort comes home in P2, and Zachary Wake, winner in the season opener, is going to round out our podium as the 78 of Ryan Rose does his donuts. We will get all of our drivers prepared to go for some post-race interviews. That was certainly a long one. Race of attrition, if I have ever seen it. And kudos to all of these drivers who made it all the way to the end. And with that, I do believe we can start taking a look at our results. All right. Here we go then. We've got the third place finisher, driver, the 39, Zachary Wake. I tell you what, I just got done saying how much of a race of attrition that this felt here at Richmond tonight, and through the chaos, through all of it, you found yourself up in P3 scoring a podium. Walk me through what it was like out there tonight with all the chaos.
Well, that's I think that's exactly what it was. It was just chaos. Pretty much from the time we went green. I was just trying to hold on to track position and hopefully have wrecks happen behind me. That last one definitely did not, and I don't know how I did not get more damage than I did from that. But yeah, just basically hung on and got a top 3, so I'll take it.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, we're getting ready to go to a number of interesting tracks. I don't know what I'm going for. The soonest next week is going to be Rockingham, which is another track that, usually spells chaos for a lot of drivers. It's more difficult. It's kind of hard on the tires. Given, the kind of handful that these cars were tonight, handling-wise and how loose they were. How are you feeling going into Rockingham in a week's time?
I don't mind the loose cars. I typically do well at not burning through the tires. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Rockingham. I'm excited for a lot of tracks that we have after Rockingham too. I think we're gonna have a really fun end to the season.
I think it's shaping up that way as well. And I tell you what, you've already got that win on the season, of course, but these podium finishes certainly do help the point situation as well. Congratulations on a P3 tonight. I'm going to open up the floor to you to give any Hayes High shout-outs and thank yous before we let you go celebrate.
Yeah, just thanks to the team. Nolan was up here with me. We got second place, and most of the team finished in the top 10. So we did good there. I appreciate everybody helping me out, helping me get faster. And then just got to say thanks to the wife for watching the babies.
Absolutely. There we go. Congratulations again on the P3. And with that, we move on up to the runner-up finisher in tonight's event. Nolan Milnes in the one. What could have been on the alternate tire strategy. Maybe it was just a few 2 laps in the end. What else did you need to go up there and get Ryan?
Oh my gosh, more skill. It's Ryan to be worse. Nah, probably a couple more laps, honestly. I mean, he's just so good. I definitely used my tires up there, and honestly, I kind of impostered my way to a P2 tonight. It just kind of worked out that way.
I tell you what, you had one of the most roller coaster nights, having been up there, getting tagged, going back, getting back up there, having the caution go against you, getting yourself a lap down from that. It was very much a roller coaster, through all the chaos, through all the cautions. You still got up there, you still had a chance to win, and man, I tell you what, it's only a matter of time before that one car does finally get into victory lane. And next week, we're heading to Rockingham, which is another one of these kind of tricky tracks where, the car handling is going to kind of play a big role in, and there can certainly be a lot of chaos that happens all of a sudden. So how do you feel about a track like Rockingham?
Not as good as one like Charlotte where I bend it. I mean, this is my first interview. In seven races, this is insane. This whole season's been a roller coaster for me. So many self-inflicted wounds, good stages, bad finishes. Just I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just happy that I got through clean tonight. I feel like this is more of what I'm capable of. Honestly, this is one of my worst tracks, or I'm not really good at short, flat tracks. So the fact that I whipped out a top 3 tonight, I'm just thrilled, to be honest with you. I think I have a pretty good chance next week. We'll see.
All right, we will see indeed, and it's only a matter of time before the luck turns around. Maybe tonight is the night. I tell you what, Nolan, congrats on a runner-up finish. We'll open up the floor to you to give any Hayes Highs, thank yous, and shout-outs before we let you go.
Just the whole league. I mean, everyone who puts it on, you for the broadcast, I mean, it's just top-notch. First season, and it's the best league I've ever been a part of. I mean, you guys are awesome. So you guys do a great job. And shout-out to Ryan. He dominated this race, so good for him.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. Congrats again. That is our runner-up finisher, Nolan Milnes in the one car, and that brings us to the driver of the evening, Ryan Rose, the big winner, the pole sitter, the stage winner, the other stage winner, and if I'm not mistaken, leader of every single lap tonight for the first time in All-American Racing League history. You have had quite a night, my friend, where everybody else was probably wishing they were somewhere else. It kind of looked like a different story for you.
Yeah, I was just scared as hell because I saw those guys on fresh tires up there, and I knew if we got another one, I was going to be screwed. And just thankful that like it worked out the way it did. Kind of wish it went green longer because I felt like I had a good long run car. And yeah, it was a really fun race. I screamed my head off. I'm probably going to be with a sore throat tomorrow, but it's all right.
Hey, I tell you what, that's certainly one way to do it. You got to celebrate these wins the right way. And I might be with you with a sore throat tomorrow, but it's mostly because of how many words I had to say tonight with all of these cautions. But that is neither here nor there. You had a phenomenal race. You finally put that 78 car in victory lane and made it 7 different winners in 7 races. Kind of on an uptick of momentum here as we head to a really interesting variety of tracks. I've asked the others as well, but we're about to head to Rockingham, which is another one of these tracks that's very, very much in the driver's hands, very, very much kind of down to the minute details and the handling of the cars, and it can certainly be a track that causes a lot of mayhem. So heading into Rockingham in a week's time, are you feeling like you're going to have another opportunity to win, or is it more of a struggle?
No, I feel pretty good about Rockingham. I feel like I have a pretty decent shot everywhere. But yeah, Rockingham, I mean the new one feels pretty good. I did some test laps there a little while back and feels pretty good. It's tighter than this was. This was loose, and I really like a loose race car. That was super fun. Just wish it went green longer, but yeah, I think I got a good chance for Rockingham.
Absolutely. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Big congrats again on the win tonight. First win in the league here. And, of course, before we let you go celebrate, any Hayes highs, thank yous, or shout-outs that you want to give?
Oh, yeah, just my mom, my dad, my grandpa, Brett's Electric. They're on the car, and they help me out a lot in real life. And, yeah, thank you for broadcasting. And, yeah, I think that's it.
Alrighty, well, we look forward to seeing you again next week in Rockingham, Ryan. Congrats on the win. And with that, that is our final results for tonight's event here in Richmond. It was certainly a long one, certainly a doozy for a great many of these drivers. And at the end of it, we still walk away with a 7th different winner in 7 races. Great start to the All-American Racing League inaugural season. And at the conclusion, let's take a look at our results. The big winner, we just talked to him. It's Ryan Rose in the 78, bringing us home the checkered flag. Nolan Milnes comes up in P2, best finish on the season for Nolan. Zachary Wake in P3 rounds out the podium, ahead of Gabriel Goli, and Joseph Klein rounds out the top 5. William Bruton comes home in P6, ahead of Alex Fuller in P7. Joshua O'Brien recovers to P8, ahead of Brian Wertman in 9th. Matthew Pavlik scores a top 10 tonight, ahead of Shane Johnson in P11. P12 is going to be Brian Zimmerman. Caleb West comes home 13th. Jackson West comes home in 14th. Rob Higgs in 15th, ahead of Larry Bell in 16th. Trevor Harmon finishes P17, ahead of Mark Arthur. Dakota Moniz in 19th. Cody Gibson rounds out the top 20. Jaden Wicks in 21st. Matt Semple comes home in 22nd. Stoney Benfield in 23rd. Ron Hollifield scores a 24th place finish ahead of Brad Holmes in 25th. Brian Troy comes home 26th. Tom Richter 27th. Dakota Dennis in 28th. Antonio Bannister 29th. Finishing 30th is Christopher Puglisi. Logan Spencer 31st. Tanner Marr 32nd. And Jamie Walker 33rd. A mouthful when there's that full of a field, but can't really complain at the end of the day. There is our top 3 on the front straightaway. In 1 week's time, we will return here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network for a race in Rockingham, North Carolina, at the Rock, one of the more difficult tracks, one of the more driver-oriented tracks. Right here, same time, same place, same day. You can expect to see us covering the action for race number 8 and every race throughout the remainder of the inaugural season here in the All-American Racing League. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so that you don't miss a single race here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in a week.